All right, so I'm doing something a little bit different. I am choosing what I make videos on by using a prize wheel. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. How aquarium filters work. And I figured the best way to do that is to go show you my tanks and how I'm filtering them. Let's start with the 75 right here. Genji, she's chilling. I have 3 large sponges that I got going on in this thing. And they're not only sponges, I think these are the ones with the media inside. Let me see if these are the ones with the media inside. Yep, this is the one. So this one is a little bit different than your ordinary sponge. It has a larger center tubey tube. I believe that's the correct wording for it. I gotta stop you for a sec. While editing this video, I'm realizing that I am slurring words, forgetting simple words, calling things incorrectly, naming them incorrectly, and I am glitching. I can see my cognitive decline happening as I'm editing this. So I urge you, I implore you, hit the subscribe button, the like, notification bell. I don't know how much longer I can do this. I feel my brain slipping away. And hit the hype button so hopefully my channel grows and I become somebody before I don't even know my own name. Where in the hell am I right now? The reason why so many people like sponges is because, let me pull this out right fast, is because you don't have to keep buying stuff, right? You just use it one time, you buy it, you put an air to it, and that's it. You know what I mean? The way you clean it is you squeeze. All that brown nastiness, people might look at that and be like, ew, nasty. I would say that's the same stuff essentially as what you would buy in those instant hell is a name for it, the instant cycle, instant cycle. That's what Jesus, I don't know. You know what, I'm getting old. I can't think simple words. You know, you want to know something? The other day I spent about 20 minutes trying to remember the name Harriet Tubman. I saw her face. I said the Underground Railroad. I remembered all that, but I could not remember the name Harriet Tubman. This is essentially 2 different types of filter media. This is mechanical, which it means it's physically taking particles out of the water, and it's here we go again. Biological, which means it grows beneficial bacteria, which is alive, hence biological filtration, which in my personal opinion, biological filtration, actually, you know, I'm not going to say my personal opinion. It's not an opinion. It's a freaking fact. Freaking fact, okay? Biological beneficial bacteria is the #1 filtration. It's really the only filtration you need to keep your fish alive in your aquarium. The water could be murky and have Legos and hair and gum just floating all over the place. But if you don't have beneficial bacteria eating up all that ammonia and nitrite, your fish are going to die. I assume that they made this to increase the volume of beneficial bacteria that can be put into this thing. I think it's a little gimmicky. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's so cool. So the idea behind it is it increases the beneficial bacteria that is able to be put in your aquarium. I think it's a little extra. In the bottom of that is hollow, so all that really does is gather gook in it. The one good thing I do see about that is if I needed to start an aquarium, I can just take the the beneficial bacteria medium out of there and start another aquarium by putting that media from the center of that into another aquarium. I also recently put on a big old monster Aqua Clear because the water was getting murky because I had a whole bunch of driftwood in there and I had an Aqua Clear there around. I wanted more movement. The type of fish is a big old cichlid. In my opinion, you can't go wrong when you have cichlids with the filtration going extra above and beyond. Hang on the back filtration. Let's look at this. It has a bag of carbon. Carbon, well, we already talked about the, look, is going, now all the nastiness is going. That's one of the problems with cleaning out filtration is when you go to do stuff, sometimes the stuff will go back into the tank, but don't worry about it. It will get cleaned up after everything's, Now this carbon is what's considered chemical filtration. I'm going to get into that in a second. And look, this has a big old sponge when I say big, it's a big monster sponge. Right? But look at all the funk coming out of there. So in my opinion, chemical filtration and calling carbon chemical filtration is a lie. Chemical filtration should be exactly what is called chemical. You put a chemical in the water to filter it. Carbon is not a chemical. What carbon is a mechanical filtration. Carbon think of it as a little itty bitty teeny weeny itty bitty rock with a whole bunch of little itty bitty teeny weeny itty bitty holes. The holes are so little that it can actually clean out medication at its, at teeny weeny molecules. It can actually clean out molecules, medication out of the water. That's how small of the holes that's how small of holes that stuff has. So I guess, it's calling it chemical filtration because it can filter out chemicals, but literally it's mechanical. It's just extremely small mechanical. Now, if I were to pour bleach in the water, now we're talking. Do not pour bleach in your aquarium. But this is awesome for cleaning out tannins out of your aquarium for those of you who have driftwood in there. Now let's go to my little saltwater tank. This is just an Aquarium aquarium. Look at there. Aquarium aquarium, right? And I have a little, let me change the light spectrum. All right, this is an Aquarium aquarium. And what I did is I changed from the cartridge, and I have, look, this is beneficial bacteria. Look, I touched it and look what happened. This is little biological rings. Inside I have more biological stuff, and I have just a little sponge in there. And that's it. So don't let people tell you you need this, that, and this right here, it's another one, another little teeny weeny filter. I don't actually need it. Look, you see that little filter right there? I don't actually need that, but I had it and I put it on there just for more water flow. Salt water does need water flow. That's why I went with such a large, that's what you do want for salt water. You want a lot of water flow, and one way you can accomplish that is by having a large, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and clean some of this out. So I guess today is a filter cleaning day. Let's check these guys out. I got me some female flower horn. That is a comfort. And look what I got going on for filtration. I have a Tidal, right? Tidal is similar to the Hujima Whatsits. Aqua Clear. But what I have in here is I have this bag full of This fuzzy stuff right here, this is filter floss. Actually, this is not filter floss. This is pillow freaking stuffing. The same thing inside your pillow you get from Wally World. It's just pillow stuffing. And if you get it from Wally World, make sure it says, it does not say fire retardant. Make sure it doesn't say fire retardant, because if it does say fire retardant, that means there's a chemical on it. The title has a large space to put my own filtration, how I see fit. I can do what I want with it, right? It did not come with that. It did not come with that at all. I decided to put that in there myself. It came with something else. Now for this guy. Hey, BB, how'd you do? Look. In there, large sponge filter that he keeps on moving around. Get out of the way, bud. This is supposed to be a 20 to 55 gallon. You hear what I said? This filter is supposed to be able to handle 20 gallons to 55 gallons. What the hell type of filter can handle that range and be good at either one? If it could handle a 20 gallon, and a 55 gallon, you would imagine that at a 20, if you put it on a 20 gallon, it would be blasting. Or if you put it on a 55 gallon and it could also handle a 20 gallon properly, it would be slow. In my personal opinion, I'd probably put this on like a 5 gallon because it is slow. In here, I have filter floss. It didn't come with that. It came with these bio balls. It's filter floss. I'm not gonna take this apart, but just mind you, the top is where there's one tray and it trickles down to the bottom where there's more space for it to come over here. It's a huge eyesore and it's not producing any real benefit, in my opinion, to be such an ugly thing. But I have it, so it's there. Now the idea with having sponge filters and these hang on the backs, because a lot of people might be asking, well, why do you do that? Why don't you use one or the other? Why do you use sponge filters and hang on the backs? If you say sponge filters are so great, what the hell is the purpose for that? Well, these particular fish that I feed heavy. They are very dirty. Filtration should match the types of fish you have, the type of aquarium you have. I have large fish. Large fish come with large poops. I overdo on the beneficial bacteria so that I can sleep well at night, thinking, knowing that, biologically the water is being filtered with my beneficial bacteria, and being as a bare bottom, a lot of the water, a lot of the debris is getting cleaned out by the hang on the back filter, so I could, go ahead and throw that away. This is a sick tank right now. That's why I have a little bit of water, because I'm doing water changes every day. So I only put a little bit of water, so I only have to do a little bit of water change and use a little bit of medication. But he has a super big sponge filter in there also. My Trimac, again, he has a sponge filter. He has a big old Aqua Clear, but he has something else. Check this out. He has that moving media filter. Beneficial bacteria are living organisms and living creatures. And just like any living creature, when they grow, as they grow, they consume more because they are growing. And so they need that energy, so they consume more. Now, once they've reached the peak of their growth, their individual growth, they stop consuming as much. Now they're just eating to maintain life, not grow life. It's good to clean your filters. It's good to knock off all that old beneficial bacteria to make room for new beneficial bacteria to grow. And as that grows, they consume more ammonium nitrate. That is how it was explained to me. I'm not a physiologist. It made sense to me. But the idea is as it tumbles, the beneficial bacteria kind of gets knocked off of it, new stuff, and knocked off of it, and new stuff, and the water gets passed through it. That's the idea of it. It was given to me by Aqua. Aqua, I think it was Aqua. AQQA. But I can see where people don't like it in their aquarium. It's just, it's unnatural looking. But then there's nitrate. There is a way to keep it way down, keep it at bay. And that's with plants, whether it be plants in your aquarium or plants out of your aquarium. Plants suck up nitrates to help keep your fish alive. And you can find a lot of these plants pretty much anywhere. I live in Florida, so a lot of this stuff you can find outside. But if you don't, you can find a lot of this stuff at your local hardware, like Wally World or Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. But yeah, you know, whether it be plants in the water or plants above the water, plants is another form of filtration that will handle nitrates. Regardless of how much filtration, what type of filtration, I could put all kinds of filters on here. I could put an FX6 with 8 sponge filters and 20 hang on the backs. I could do that, but it doesn't matter if I overfeed, which I could do because I sell fish food at aquatics.com at bulk prices, by the way. That was shameless. There is no amount or kind of filtration that can handle your abuse with overfeeding. There's really not. For every tank, there's a filter, and for every filter, there's a tank. One video off the board, so let's spin to see what the next one's going to be. Why most angelfish tanks fail and how to fix them. Now don't forget, we got one video off the board, so leave in the suggestions below what you might want me to fill this with. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did and you're new here, just hit subscribe and like. I hope you know that there's a hype button. Hook a brother up. It's a small gesture on your part, but it's big for the channel. I appreciate you and I thank you in advance.